Raider Nation, we got some major Matthew Stafford trade rumors to discuss. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. It's bright and early here on my side, but you know what? Anytime we get some new information or information that excites me, I'm going to share it with you. And if you have that exact same mindset, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure those notifications are turned on because this week, today, has already been crazy, and it sounds like today could get even a little bit more crazier. So coming up here on the show, I'm going to get into the latest around Matthew Stafford and everything that is being discussed. I'm going to tell you the top two teams that are being interested in him right now, and it sounds like a decision could be made today on whether or not Matthew Stafford is going to be staying with the Rams or not. So according to NFL insider Dianna Russini, the Rams are set to meet with Matthew Stafford at their facility in person today regarding his future. The Raiders and Giants have discussed a 2-year contract for Stafford that includes $90 to $100 million. A decision is expected soon. So first off, I want to talk about that report from Dianna. Let's first talk about how the Rams and Matthew Stafford are set to meet at their facility in person. They probably want to try to figure out a way to get a deal done because one of the things that I have said that you got to look at is the way Stafford's contract is broken down. If you're the Los Angeles Rams, you can either pay Stafford $49 million this year to be on your team, or you can pay him $45 million to go play somewhere else. It sounds like Stafford really just wants more guarantees. And for a team like the Raiders, which the number that I have been reporting is 2 years, $100 million, fully guaranteed. That's very similar to the style of contract the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with John Spytek gave Tom Brady, and that's kind of the deal that I have said is going to end up happening if a deal ends up going down with the Raiders. So first off, though, if you're the Rams and you're like, maybe we can just give you a raise. And the Rams kind of did this before with Aaron Donald, where he had, just 3 years left on his deal. And instead of just giving him an extension and adding years on the back end of it, they said, you know what, we're just going to give you fully guaranteed money. And that's what they did. They just gave Aaron Donald, I want to say it was like 3 years, $90 million. And they just said, there you go, there's your money. What if they try to do the exact same thing for Stafford? He's 37 years old and they go, you want guarantees? Awesome. We're going to give you even more money. We're going to give you even more guarantees. Some people might go, well, then why would they not just do it? Sean McVay and the Rams for a while discussed kind of moving on and moving forward to the future. Also, if you're Sean McVay, again, like Amazon put a deal on your table, which was $20 million a year for you to talk about football. So, I think Sean McVay could even be mulling over a decision of whether or not he's going to be there for the long haul. And that's probably a conversation that Stafford wants to know from Sean McVay. But it sounds like that they're going to meet in person and they're going to get it going. So let's go back to the contract here for the Raiders if they were to offer it to Matthew Stafford. 2 years, $90 to $100 million guaranteed. I look at that, and again, he's got 2 years left on his contract. If you're a Raiders organization, if you're a Raiders fan, that's got to fire you up because it's not going to be a huge cap hit where I'm going to say if they give him 90 to 100 mil, I'm going to project that his cap hit this season is going to be somewhere between $20 to $25 million. And, I don't know if you would have gotten that cap hit with Sam Darnold, with a Russell Wilson. You might have been able to get that with Justin Fields, but Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than all of those other options out there. We can all agree on that. Stafford is a clear top 12 quarterback. And I know at times he struggled a little bit last season, but he also, Puka Nacua was injured almost the entire year. His offensive line was one of the most banged up lines in the entire league. You also had Cooper Kupp. He was down with injury. Go back and look at how many injuries the Rams had, which is why, I've seen people throw out stats on Stafford left and right. I mean, don't get me wrong. He hasn't done nearly what we are accustomed to seeing Matthew Stafford do. 3,762 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 65.8% completion percentage. But at least go back, do your homework a little bit, and just go look and see the fact that he was, dealing with a lot of other injuries around him. And he's had some injuries of himself, right? And it's definitely something that the Raiders got to keep in mind. But on a 2-year window, there's not a better quarterback out there that gives the Raiders a chance to win in a 2-year window. Also, from Mike Garafolo, as this situation has progressed, sources have indicated Matthew Stafford is really mulling whether to uproot his personal and professional life, but there's still work to do with the Rams to get back in a good spot and agree on a return, so stay tuned. We're getting there. I got to do a pinned comment on today's show, and I want to know down below, do you want the Raiders to trade for Matthew Stafford, knowing that it sounds like it's going to be 2 years, somewhere around 90 to 100 million guaranteed. Type T for trade, type P for pass. My answer after this YouTube ad break. If you waited till after the ad break for me to tell you that I want the Raiders to trade for Matthew Stafford, well then shout out to you. I think you're a real one anyway. I want this deal to get done, and I want it to get done because I want the Raiders to go out there and I want them to compete. Now, I will admit this, if by going out and trading for Stafford, it changes my idea of what this organization could do this offseason. Also at the quarterback spot, there was a lot of rumors around Zach Wilson. Those rumors they are real. The Raiders are looking at Zach Wilson, not as a starter, but I think it would be somebody to be as a backup to Stafford. Let Zach Wilson, let Aiden O'Connell go out there and compete. And that was something that, Pete Carroll has said multiple times, that he wants his quarterback room to compete. And if you got a 25-year-old Zach Wilson, who was the number 2 overall pick in 2021, going up against Aiden O'Connell, who's got 20 games played, 17 starts underneath his belt in 2 seasons, that's a hell of a competition room. I'll also admit this. I know a lot of people want the Raiders to draft a QB, and, we've seen names like Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, who are literally talking about the Raiders right now as I am recording this video. Our chat sports team is sending me some videos from the Combine. I don't know if they're going to draft a quarterback, and if they do, it's probably going to be on day 3, because if you make a move for Stafford, that means you're in win-now mode, and you're going to use a lot of those early draft picks. You're going to use a lot of that money you spent on free agency building on trying to win right now. So I know we've been thinking about bridge quarterback, maybe a Sam Darnold, right? Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, you draft a QB to learn underneath. I think if by going out and trading for Matthew Stafford, I don't know if that's going to happen. And I think it's one of the reasons why you're seeing some of these rumors around Zach Wilson. But then also, if you're a Raiders organization that doesn't love any of the quarterbacks, and we've heard this is a little bit of a weaker quarterback class, then you could plan for 2026 down the line, and maybe that's the year that you decide to bring in your QB, let your QB sit for a year then, and then after that, then you hand the keys to the car, which I think that is actually a little bit of a smarter situation if you're Las Vegas. So a lot of these rumors, they started to ramp up over the past week or so, and some videos that I want people to check out that are down below in the comments section on this show. Major Raiders trade rumors on Matthew Stafford and Cam Ward. This is also back on Monday when the Raiders re-signed Isaiah Paul-Mal. Matthew Stafford trade rumors are heating up, plus Zach Wilson. That's a whole video that I want you to check out. And then if you didn't see the video on Matthew Stafford's secret meeting with Tom Brady that had Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz fighting, those are 3 videos that if you're like, how did we get here to this point with Matthew Stafford? Those are 3 videos that you need to check out. And again, they are down below in the comments and description of today's show. Here's also how I want to almost end this video. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You guys hear me say it all the time. The Raiders and the Giants are the top 2 teams right now in for Matthew Stafford, okay? Yesterday, one of the biggest buzzes that we heard from the Combine was the Giants and Titans are in conversations that they could do a trade. Giants are at 3, the Titans are at 1. If you're the Giants and you already know in the back of your mind that he's going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders, or you don't think that you have a shot, well then you would start picking up the phone and you would start figuring out ways to go get your quarterback in Cam Ward. Also, the Raiders, reminder, earlier this week it was reported that the Raiders were sniffing around about what the number 1 pick could overall cost, and they were looking at what Cam Ward could be. That's what good organizations do. You weigh out all your options. And if the options right now for Las Vegas is trading up for Cam Ward or trading for Matthew Stafford, that tells me that we're doing the right thing, because those are your 2 best options if you're looking for the best quarterback. Whether you're looking for a trade or sign, it's Matthew Stafford. Best quarterback in the draft, it's Cam Ward. That's what smart organizations do. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm going to get on out of here. I wanted to be able to share this information with you. It does sound like something could happen at any moment today in terms of a decision on Stafford staying with the Rams. Reminder, a trade for the Raiders and Stafford cannot happen. A trade can't even really be agreed on behind terms. The earliest we can hear that a trade for Raiders and Stafford is going to be March 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's the 48 hour before the legal tamper. That's the 48 hours before the new league year starts. So free agency begins March 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's the new league year. That's when deals become officially official. There's a 48-hour window prior to that, though, where you can talk and you can start getting some of these things going, where you can agree to a term, but then it doesn't become officially official. So even if you find out today that the Rams and Matthew Stafford are going to be moving on, the Raiders still can't go out and trade for him. But if he's moving on from the Rams, and if the Giants are sniffing around as much as they are on that number 1 pick, I think Matthew Stafford is going to be a Las Vegas Raider, and I really, really hope that this situation doesn't turn out like the Ben Johnson situation, where we're getting a lot of information. It looks like it's going to be us, but if this ends up not being us, I think what you're going to see is teams are taking advantage a little bit of this Tom Brady situation, and they're trying to drive up the asking price. Because if they did it with Ben Johnson, and if it happens again with Matthew Stafford, burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on you. Burn me 3 times, shame on me. The Raiders got to sit back and they got to go, are people using us to drive up price tags? Reports are good. Agents can do a lot. But you also got to play chess when everybody else is playing checkers here from time to time. So hopefully Stafford and Tom Brady's meeting in Montana went great, and hopefully Matthew Stafford is going to be a Raider this season. For more news, for more updates, again, make sure you're subscribed, make sure your notifications are turned on. We're going to be providing a lot of content here around the NFL Combine. For even more videos around the silver and black, click that subscribe button right here. I promise you, I got you covered. If you're looking for even more videos from the Raiders, maybe it's one of the videos that I discussed. It could be right here. It could also be right here. This is going to be the craziest offseason of all time, and I can't wait to break it all down with the entire nation.